I'm not gonna lie, I've been wanting to post a video on the Shadowlands Endgame Experience for quite some time. But also I've been kinda just busy playing Shadowlands. It's really good. Took me like a couple of days, but one might say that I've been fully immersed. Like, I haven't showered in like a solid week. I've pretty much migrated all of my social contacts into the game already. And if you thought that this boy isn't getting any pussy, yeah, it's definitely not gonna happen now. Like, dwarf pussy is all I need. Also tell your sister to call me back. So for this review, I'm gonna make a point to literally review all of the content that Shadowlands has to offer. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been literally trying to test out everything at once, which wasn't the easiest thing since I didn't really have like a raiding guild to come back to. And also my arena mate basically dumped me like 2 days into the expansion. So if you guys couldn't tell, I'm also accepting applications right now for like arena mates. They feel like Guardian and above and feel like carrying a guy that hasn't been playing WoW for like 10 years. Now, Shadowlands kind of initially overwhelmed my Wrath of the Lich King based brain, like all of that fucking temporary power gain. You got Anima over here. Oh, fuck yeah! Soul Dust over there. You got a bunch of keystones, and how the fuck do I get stronger in the first place? Now, fortunately, Blizzard has taken all of that progression that used to be daily and kind of just put a weekly time gate around it. I'd say in general, this expansion is like kind of set up for you to play it on a week by week basis. They even made a zone that kicks you out eventually if you're trying to play too much. No!
Close.
I'm getting picked up by some fucking angel around here. Yeah, but this is fine. Like I'm like right next to the portal. So might die from fall damage.
Oh, mate.
It's like my mom was in charge of the game design on this one. But just to give you guys like a rough overview, there is 3 different progression paths, and I think we're just gonna start off with like the benchmark for everyone that's playing WoW apparently. Yeah, raiding of course. And it's segmented into Raid Fighter, which is the easiest one. You got normal mode, you got heroic, and then you got mythic. And apparently the power gap between like normal and heroic has been pretty steep when it comes to this expansion. Apparently the loot is like extremely hard to obtain right now when it comes to raiding. So we got a bunch of like 40-year-old boomers that are still into raiding, complaining about the game being too hard. Truth is, I'd be lying if I could like talk about this stuff. Like, I haven't experienced it myself. I have no experience when it comes to any of that stuff. The only thing that I've been doing was like 2 days worth of raiding on normal mode, and I've been enjoying it for the most part. Kind of felt like I got carried a little bit too much, but I'd say the biggest change for me as a Wrath player was the fact that we do have individual loot, so there's like almost no drama when it comes to who gets which item. And in theory, if you already have the same slot that you're getting in your loot box, you can even trade it to one of your guildies, which in my opinion is... It's not like I'm ever gonna do that. Now, the next progression path after raiding is kind of the biggest change for me as a Wrath player. There is actually a lot of really challenging 5-man content. So you got normal mode, you got heroics, which pretty much everyone is just kind of leaving after 2 or 3 boss fights after they got their drop from their legendary piece. And then you got mythic and mythic plus. And I kind of have the feeling that you guys are gonna see a lot more of that content. And that's like a completely different switch up when it comes to 5-man content. Like, I remember like a month into Wrath of the Lich King, I've been already like fury tanking most of the heroics, and you really only did that for like your daily emblems. You just kind of rushed through them, not really giving a fuck about most of the mechanics anyways. And when it comes to Mythic Plus, I honestly kind of feel like that is the way to go for me personally to gear up. I have like a couple of really strong friends, and as long as they kind of teach me the mechanics, I feel really confident getting my character up and running that way. It has been quite a challenge, and if you're not into like fucking socializing with like 20 other people, just to set up like 6-hour appointments on the weekends. Stop! And when it comes to the third piece of content, we do have PvP still. And honestly, that was the reason why I got back into playing WoW to begin with. And I kind of went into this expansion as a warrior main, just expecting to just get bent over and fucked over and over again, which definitely was the case initially, but I've been really enjoying how the warrior class is being played. The only issue is I really don't have anyone to play arena with. Warrior is extremely healer dependent. I've been told that everything is balanced around like the later stages of this season, and because of that reason, somehow Shadow Priests almost one-shot you while also being the first in healing. Truth is, as long as you're like average geared, PvPing as an alliance player really isn't something that I would recommend if you're solo queuing. But once you got a bunch of friends together, you can really stomp BGs with fast queue times. Yeah, hordes really aren't used to losing anymore.
Yeah, lava is quite fast actually.
Nice. Now, aside from those 3 pillars of content, you got covenants, which basically get you a bunch of dailies. You got this mobile gaming system around it. And with all of that stuff, you get renown, which basically allows you to get gear. You also do get to decide which sort of abilities you want to choose. Now, as a warrior, I'm kind of fortunate enough to be able to have some sort of choice, but I've been told that there are some classes that really only have one way to go. Overall, I'd say the covenant system for me personally really hasn't been like something that I've been enjoying too much. I really don't like being forced to choose something just because it's good. But also at the same time, I do like the artwork of Bastion. Yeah, whatever, it's fine. So pretty much you get a bunch of new abilities for free, and then you get some slight improvements on stuff that you already owned. Now, this is what really messed with me as a Wrath player. Like, your character no longer is this complete toolbox with like 500 abilities. It's more like a power draw that you fuel by doing dailies. Another piece of content is like Torghast, which is exactly like Binding of Isaac, fucking Archero. You've all seen it. Like, you just kind of do PvE content alone. You get a bunch of upgrades every single like stage you complete and crush your enemies into dust. For dust, which gets you legendaries for some fucking reason. Now, 2 weeks into the expansion, I'm already rolling around with a bunch of legendaries myself. No longer doing like long ass quest lines, doing raids with your guildies for a couple of months, just to be the only hero to be mighty enough to wield that powerful weapon. I've basically walked past this guy and just got a bunch of legendary items. Well, it's not that simple, but you kind of get the idea. Now, that's pretty much it when it comes to the Shadowlands Endgame Experience. I kind of tried really hard to give you guys a rough idea of what it's like. Overall, I've been really enjoying it. There is like a lot of things that I've been improving when it comes to just how smooth the game is being played. I also kind of went into the game expecting to have to play a lot on a daily basis just to be able to catch up. And I'm really happy that Blizzard realized that we don't need a fucking carrot dangling in front of our head on a daily basis just to keep playing the game. Like, for me personally, it has always been the game that I've been going back to on like a weekly basis to like fucking play for like 20 hours straight. But I really don't want to be forced to be playing every single day for like 2-3 hours. Like, I'm 25 years old. I got shit to do. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Tell me lies to justify what all I'm hearing is the